No, I'm good. I think I got it good. It was a really good effort by our defense. Gave up 1 yard per carry rush against a team that's had tremendous success running the football. And then special teams obviously was the difference. I thought that Corndog played really well, made a lot of plays. I don't know what he rushed for. I don't see him on here as a rush guy, but I thought he was very effective running the football. This is South Alabama. I was sitting there looking, and I thought, we didn't have 600 yards. So good thing I had it memorized. But anyway, really good defensive effort. 7 sacks, 1 yard per rush. And other than the first score, we gave up 4 was in really good coverage one time and got lazy and didn't think there was a chance the guy could make a play. He made a great one-hand catch. So we gave up a score there, but other than that, we were really good. So it's a good one for us. You know, we were able to rush. Like I said on Monday, we need to be 4.5 yards a carry of running the football in order to be successful, and we were 4.7. So we were able to rush the ball a little bit, throw it around, and get ready to get on to the next one. Well, I mean, I don't know specifically. He played good, I think. But those guys are playing well, and I think the concept and the scheme that we have gives us a chance to be successful. And they've played hard. You know, he's a veteran guy, been around forever, and they played hard, and it was important to him.
Taylor's comfort level in the passing, do you think it bore any correlation to how he ran the ball? Do you think the comfort sort of was intertwined there a little bit in his game today?
That's the best comment that we've had so far. You're all over it. I think he's comfortable when he's running the ball some. He gets into the flow of a game, right? Like a three-point shooter in basketball, hits a couple threes, he gets hot, you know, and you give it to him, and he starts hitting a few more. But he's just had experience. He's played 3 games now, so he's getting a little better each game.
At the front of the week, Mike, you were a slight favorite. Today you come in, you're a slight underdog at kickoff. Did you guys feel
somebody dumped a lot of money on the other side there?
I guess.
I don't know anything about gambling. I just know that if that happens, somebody's sad.
Did you feel like you guys felt especially challenged or even cornered a little bit coming into this one?
Us? No. I mean, I don't think we saw that at all. I think our team thought they were going to win the game. I have a lot of respect for them, and as I said earlier in the week, I think in all 3 phases and in a program in general, they could very well be the as well coached team in the country, in my opinion. That's why I thought this was such a good series, because you're matching coaching against really good football coaches. And I will say this, when the game's over, I will say that again from the standpoint of their players played the game the right way. They didn't talk trash. They come out on your sidelines. They go back on the field, timeouts. It's a first-class organization, and you can tell why they win games, because they play the game for the right reason. And we're trying and moving forward with our guys in doing that, and I thought they played the same way today. It was a really clean game. There wasn't any jawing, there wasn't any trash talk, anybody late hits. So it was a fun game to watch.
Mike, did you guys feel that you found something during this week that you could exploit in their punt block?
Cashmore and MK had a plan, and they put it in place. And sometimes during a week you watch things and you feel like, it's going to work. And then sometimes you're like, I'm not real fired up about that. And I felt really good about it all week. And we didn't do it well on Tuesday, but we got it corrected in the meeting. And when we did it again Thursday, the players understood it. They made the adjustments, and their angles were really good. Their alignments were really good. And they hit the creases and came off the edge really good. And that's the key with blocking punts. Everybody's got to be in the right spot. It's a big day for 11 and then also for 24 for a true freshman to block a punt like that's pretty cool.
Mike, what about your offensive line? They've been average by your estimation the first 2 games. How do you think they played today?
I thought they were below average in the first half, and then I thought they were above average in the second half. They had a good scheme for us on a couple things we were doing running the ball, and I didn't like what our answer was. So at halftime, we made an adjustment. They answered back. And then at the end of the third quarter, our guys answered back again. and came up with a nice little scheme there and allowed us to rush the football.
Keep pretty much the same rotation of those guys today?
With the backs,
No, I'm sorry, with the offensive line. It seemed like it was.
I should be able to answer that, but I don't know. Henson rolls those guys kind of with, whenever he's comfortable, and I'm not sure without asking.
How much is Taylor being able to take off and run the ball the way that he did today and having that freedom to change your offense?
We had some different schemes in for him to run in this game than, that we haven't used at this point this year, and we have to take advantage of that. And we talked about this on Monday. He's a legitimate barefoot 6'6". He takes 2 steps and he's over there at that podium. So he's a little bit deceptive in how fast he is because he's a big strider. So we have to be able to use that to our advantage, but we also have to be able to protect him. The only thing he did that I wasn't happy about is once he gets his run accomplished based on what he's going to get, he needs to get down. I'm not real fired up about him taking hits. And I think he'll learn that. He's just learning on the run. He's got 3 games in his career.
Did you maybe look back at some of the Colin Klein, K-State stuff that they did with a bigger quarterback like him?
I would never tell, Bill. I wouldn't tell.
A little like Snyder stuff.
I think it's just because Corn Dog's big like Colin. I think that's what made it look that way. I don't know if Colin has a receding hairline or not. So Corn Dog knows I love him. I give him a hard time all the time. After the game, I told 24 that if he was of age, he'd be a big hit in the clubs tonight. He's going to have to go to the Mickey Mouse Club because he's only 18. And I told Corn Dog he could get a discount at Denny's. So.
Matt Amendola, with 17 straight field goals, 48-yarder, I thought kind of shifted the momentum a little bit.
Yeah, he's done really well. And our battery's been good. Snaps and holds have been good. His timing, he's getting a good flow and rhythm. And our protection's been good. We adjusted it this year. You guys probably noticed we're using all linemen with eligible numbers pulled over them to give us a little more beef up front. And I've been pleased with the protection on PAT field goals.
Mike, with the defensive performance coming against a team that scored 50 and 60 their first 2 games, what do you think that says about the potential for this year's defense?
I thought they had a great plan. I thought that their communication during the game was good. And we talked about this on Monday. Boise wants to run the ball, and if you stop them, they still want to run the ball, and then they want to throw it over your head. And that's what they did today. AJ should have made the play when the guy had the one-handed touchdown. He got lazy. If he defends that, they really play a heck of a game as a defense. Not that it's anybody's fault, but I like where they're at. I like our fits. I like our schemes. I like our pass rush. We do some things differently now than we did in the past. Allows us to put more pressure on the quarterback. You got to give Rippon credit. He got sacked 7 times today, and he stayed in there. He sat in the pocket, and he's a good player. He's not. I thought he was taller than that. He's really my height or maybe a little less. I don't know what he's listed as, but when I talked to him after the game, he's probably just 6 foot, maybe 6.5. But he's a competitor, and got sacked 7 times and was still hanging in there in the end, throwing the ball.
It seemed like your defense mixed some things up too, in terms of where they were bringing pressure from, just what they were showing, creativity-wise. Were you pretty pleased with that?
Yes, they had. Oh, you would have to ask Coach. I don't know. They had 4 different schemes that we hadn't used this year that they used today, and I thought they did a good job of when to make that decision, and they pressured it. I got a lot of heat all week from my 14-year-old. Gage is, are you going to blitz the quarterback? You going to blitz the quarterback? I said, some. Can't blitz him all the time. He's pretty good. And he said, I'd blitz him all the time. So Coach Knowles said, okay, we'll blitz him all the time. And put a lot of pressure on him, and I think it was a smart move because when he sets back there, he's pretty good. And they're good with the controlled passing game. All that West Coast stuff they do, they know what they're doing.
Were you surprised you were able to get so much pressure then on a 4th-year, starting quarterback who's the most experienced quarterback in the country, that kind of thing?
Yes, I was, because I thought their offensive line was really, really good, and I wasn't sure that we could handle them on the edge as well as we did. But 1 in 94 and 82 and 40, actually did a good job of getting up the field and dipping and putting pressure on him.
To the offense specifically after being held to 15 yards in the first quarter?
Us to the offense.
The offense would just say, like, try to get them like.
Well, I mentioned to Yursich. Well, no, I don't think I did. I think he was off the phone. But to them, if we at this pace, we're going to average 60 yards at the end of the game. So we may want to change a few up. And they did a good job. They made adjustments. We get things. They did the same thing to us we do to them. There were several looks they gave us that they have not shown. And so we have to adjust on the run. But that's pretty common with us. We go into games, and sometimes we get completely opposite of what people have shown on tape. They're trying to scheme us, and so Mike and them have to adjust on the run. And when you're doing that against a really good team that understands and they're very, very mature, that gives them flexibility to do different things on defense. So it took us a little time, but once Mike and them got a beat on them, we were good.
Mike, big picture, you guys dismantled a team that was ranked in the top 20 coming into the weekend. What does this say about your team, especially considering you had to replace so many key guys off last year's squad?
Well, we're lucky. We have a culture in place here that's first class. Rob Glass and Gary Calcagno and all the strength staff, Joel and those guys. Essentially, they set these guys up for success. We were in better shape and we were more physical than they were. If you go back and look real close at the end of the third quarter and the fourth quarter, up front we started to win, and we were very physical, and they're a physical offensive line. But we were physical and we were in great condition. And I think a lot of credit goes to them. But we have a bunch of good young men on our team. They're quality kids, and they care about each other. They're unselfish. And I know I say that, and you guys, you get tired of hearing that, but that's how you win games. You win games with unselfish players that are willing to do more for others than they are themselves, and that's what they do. So, good news is we get to enjoy tonight, and then Sunday we got to go back to work no matter what happens on Saturday. Sunday, when we show up in the morning, we got to go back to work and get ready for the next one, because we're not to a point that we can just chill out and beat anybody. We're certainly not that good.
What level do you think maybe Cornelius, not that you're going to tip your hand necessarily, but I mean, his involvement in the run game, Mike, was it kind of a special occasion today because of the matchup? Or, you said you don't want to expose him too much, but it was pretty effective. So is that going to be an every week kind of dynamic?
Obviously, Mike and the offensive staff will make those decisions. I think there's times for him to run the ball, but what you said is true. It's based on the situation that we're presented with. And one thing that we tell our players during the week, and then I remind them again every Saturday in pregame, is that the defense can somewhat determine what we do. We don't have that choice. So we have to have 10 unselfish players on offense, and one person's lucky enough to get the ball. And that person's responsible for making a guy miss and scoring. The other 10 guys got to be unselfish. And we don't necessarily know what we're going to do based on how people play us. And that's been our approach, and they buy into that. So, 13 didn't get the ball very much today. 1 didn't get the ball very much today, just based on what they were doing with some safeties and stuff. So it is what it is. I mean, and we didn't get as many. I think we got 87 plays, but twice we didn't get to go on the field, basically because of blocked punts. So we'd have been around 115 plays on a normal game.
Cornelius, after that rough first quarter, I mean, was the body language all
The same. It's hard to phase that guy. He has a good temperament. He understands the offense. He believes in himself. I had a discussion with him on the last field goal we kicked going that way. He should have done something different, in my opinion. And he said, well, I should have scored anyway. I didn't run the ball, and I didn't do a good job. And I said, well, I was talking about something else. And he goes, okay, I'm good, but I should have scored anyway. Well, I love that. Okay, that means that he's willing to take responsibility for whatever happens and say, hey, look, I should have been better than that. That's why the players like him. That's why they rally around him, because he's got a good temperament. And I'm usually pretty good during the games. Yursich is chewing his ass the whole time. So he's got to deal with a lot, but he knows it's for all the right reasons.
How happy were you to get through this game only needing 15 carries from Justice?
I expected it to be 22. We talked about that. I'm excited about that because I want to keep him fresh and healthy, and I think you guys saw today why. I mean, he's special. When he gets out there, he can roll. You just got to get him through the front and let him go. And we were better in the second half, and we were not very good in the first. But we have to improve. We've got to be a better run-blocking football team in order for us to continue to have success.
What did you see as the biggest change for the special teams? Why, after last week?
It's the same stuff. They had a good scheme, and the kids bought into it, and they practiced hard. When you block punch, you're going to send anywhere from 5 to 6 people, and based on the alignment you have, you can get a good indication of who they're going to block, but you don't know for sure because you don't control what they do. So 6 people got to go hard, and everybody has to make that commitment because they might block you and they might not block that guy, and they think they're going to block that guy, and then they turn you loose. And I think without watching tape, all 6 guys went hard, and we had 2 or 3 show up at the block point. I don't have the watch on the time. I know it was slow on the first one, but the second one, I think 24 just came clean. But it was pretty impressive in the fact that they took the ball off the foot instead of jumping up in the air. So they're taking the coaching from Cash Money and MK. So that's a fun thing for a head coach to watch young men take coaching, especially one guy's a true freshman.
Mike, I'm sure you, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Jake.
I'm sure you learned a lot about your team from this game, maybe probably more so than you did the first 2 games. How good can you guys be this season?
I think we have a good team. There was a lot of talk about quarterback, and Corndog gets better every week and plays hard, and I don't think there's anybody that would question his toughness and his composure. Our wideouts can make plays. We dropped a couple balls today. We're such a flow offense. Like the second play of the game, Corndog fires it out there, and we had given him a little bit of a new look, and 17 dropped it. He's going to get 10 yards, maybe more, because we had a nice block out there. We were in max splits, and he dropped the ball, so then it's kind of a downer, and then we kind of, we just kind of spin out of control. And so if they learn to keep working together, I like our offensive staff because they don't try to do too much, because eventually you're not good at anything. There was a coach that's retired now, and he told me you find you 6 or 8 good junior high plays and execute them really good, you got a good chance to win. And really that's kind of where we're at now because we have enough skill. We just need to function and execute. Got to cover guys up front. If we learn to run block and move guys off the ball, we have a chance to be a really good offense. If we just stand there and don't get movement, then hopefully our skill kids can make enough plays to score points. They played good today. I'd like to double down and do it again, but you know how it is in college football. If they take care of themselves tonight and come back tomorrow ready to go to work and get back into the flow of it, they'll be fine. They jack around tonight and lose focus and come back tomorrow and thinking they're pretty good, well, that's when they'll get it stuck. So they got to figure it out and come back and go to work, and that's my job. That's the one thing I do. Don't do a lot else other than that. So hopefully I can keep them under control.
A year ago today, you had a bunch of NFL guys and had like 500 yards and a half at Pittsburgh, and maybe you're less talented at the top of the roster now, but is there a chance you think you're a far more complete team maybe?
It's still too early. You guys asked me that, and I told you by the middle of October I'd have a pretty good idea of where we're at. And we need to play some more games. We're a different team structurally and how we function than we were last year at Pittsburgh. That was just kind of hold them and get the ball back and go score. That's where we were last year. We're different in special teams, and I think we're better in the return game than we were. And defensively, so far, our guys are in the right spot, in the right gap, getting pressure. When you can get 7 sacks against a team that knows what they're doing on offense, you're gonna have a chance to have some success. But starts over on Sunday.
Is it a happier room though when you get 23 points off special teams and you win by 23 and you get a good defensive day and the offense had a nice day?
I'm all for the defense playing that way every week, and it makes my job a lot easier. in the fact that when we can go out and hold our own. But I think what you said is right. There's going to be times they hit our defense. I mean, each week things are differently, and then we'll have to adjust. And then offensively, you better pick the slack up, and special teams wise. But it'll be that way every week. I mean, from here on out, teams we play, it's going to be that way every week.
Mike, I know you were happy with the run game, but the short yardage, especially at the goal line, those kind of things, that's got to drive you crazy, though.
We'll improve on that. I will say this, that the game, this is one thing Bob Stoops used to say that I thought was right. 1 yard is the hardest yard to get in college football because we don't work on that a lot. We're all spread out, and we're doing all the stuff we do, and we're playing fast and chunking it down the field and all the misdirection and everything, and we don't really practice getting 1 yard anymore. And he said that a couple times, and I realized we all fall in that trap. So we will get better at that. But it is, they're in bear. They got the nose covered up. They got both guards covered up with 3 techniques. They had the mug backers walked up in the line in the B gap, and they had edge pressure. So you're kind of swimming upstream a little bit, and we'll come up with ways, and we'll get better at that. You got one more? Okay.
How much of the out of the box thinking that we saw from Jim Knowles and what he did today did you see during the hiring process or as you're implementing things with him?
I said this to start the season. I think we have 2 very intelligent coordinators. They think out of the box. They're smart. They're good teachers. They're good communicators, and they're disciplinarians, and they're taskmasters. Both of them are. And so I see a lot more of it on offense because it kind of clicks with my brain. The defensive stuff, I know maybe the basic, but I can't speak intelligently enough to the details of what they do. You would have to ask somebody else. But I will say this, I'm pleased with what we've got so far. Good? Okay.